Hello, in this video I want to cover draft units. Draft units are new to RMS3 and they're essentially just an empty activity record. So planting any of the activities, it essentially just builds an empty activity record with a date on it. And most importantly with that is that it actually does add this draft Boolean to the table, which means that we can filter on draft units and we can do things with draft units on the iPad. And what's also nice about it, I mean, the goal of it really is that you can make a list of activities that are empty that you intend to do sometime in the future. And as you go through and complete these activities, meaning you go on the iPad or on the desktop and actually fill in the empty activity record. When you save that, it will no longer be a draft activity. So in that way, you could build 20 draft activities, get them onto the iPad, go through, do these 20 activities, and each time that you fill in an activity and click save, it will no longer be a draft activity, and you can kind of go through a checklist like that. So I'm going to show how to create some draft activities, get them on the iPad, and then what that will look like on the iPad. So I just sorted all activities in Reading by date so I can see something that's been done recently, just so it has some RMS2 data in it most likely. So North Gerard looks good, so let's just make a filter here on North Gerard. There it is. Check. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of units in North Gerard. Okay, well that's fine. We'll just select some of these top ones. Pre-commercial thin. Maybe all these pre-commercial thin. Oh, no, these are not all the units. Okay, well we want to mark these draft activities from the regen list. And right now I'm in all activities, so kind of started off on the wrong foot there. North Gerard. Let me do the filter in the regens list. Oh, I saw it there for a second. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. That makes more sense. 28 records. That would have been a lot of units. Okay, so here they are. I'm going to just select these. Just kind of feels good to look at them sometimes. We have 28, and let's just go ahead and add activities, draft units to these. So with them selected, you can click this button to select all. It applies to the selection. Hit right click. Same as if you were setting active regens. And in fact, speaking of active regens, let's just set these as active because we want to get them on the iPad anyway. So I'm going to just go ahead and set those as active right now. Okay, so now let's select them again and let's add draft activities. Let's just do some spraying. So obviously this is where you would choose to what type of activity, draft activity you want to add, and then you can choose a date. So if you knew you were going to be working through these 28 for the next 2 weeks, you could technically choose like half and try to do those on the 7th and then the other half on the 14th, and that might just help you with organization throughout the week. For now, let's just leave them as today's date. When you do the activity, you can just change that date anyway. So I'm going to click save. Okay, so that's saved. Now, just to kind of show what this looks like, I'm going to view activities on all of these. Should get that big number back, 337. And so right off the bat, you can see there's a checkbox here. Let's sort descending on this. They're all North Gerard. And here's all of our draft units that we just added, spraying. And you can kind of see they're more or less empty here, just ready to be worked on. Okay, so we have active units with draft. Let's go to the iPad. So we just want to sync up, and I just press this sync button in case you haven't done this before. First you need to go to the import export screen right here, and then press the sync button here. And so that'll start bringing on all of the necessary support tables, all the activities that are associated with that already, and all the units geometry, of course, too. So I might just pause this for a second while it's syncing. That way the video is a little shorter. Okay, completed. So I'm going to click done. And now we can see we have a lot of other activities on here from 2007, 2012. Most importantly, here you can see at the bottom of this list, this little pencil icon is signifying that this is a draft activity. And you can see that it already has today's date on there. So you could have a future date on there that might help you as well. Also, a nice thing to do on here is to hit this button here. Right now, it's showing a pencil with a line through it. That's because the draft filter is not on. If I press that button, now the draft filter is on, and this may not be the best example, but if you had 50, 60, 100 different regen units on board, and some of those units did not have draft activities, they would also be removed from this regen list. So it can really bring down the scope of what is on the iPad and help you to just get to what you need to do. So let's just add, I'm just going to click on that one. I'm going to fill this out. You can see all the required fields pop up immediately. I'm just going to fill this out kind of as quick as I can here. Apologize, this is not accurate at all. Okay, so now we've edited it, we filled all the required fields. I'm going to hit OK. Save changes, yes. Notice up here it's exporting, so that has been completed. And actually, it was almost imperceptible there, but we're no longer on that unit anymore, because it was removed from our list because we have the draft filter on that unit that we just added or completed the draft activity for is no longer a part of this filter. So you can see right here, we're only looking at 27 of 28. If I turn this off, press the button correctly. There we go. So now we're looking at all 28. If I come down here, you can see here's our spraying record that we just finished. No more pencil. So that's really all there is to it. The list is getting smaller technically. If I worked my way through this list with the filter on, you could get through your day and kind of have a heads up display of what you intended to get done, which is really nice. Or we hope that it'll be really nice. And since that did sync, we can come back in here. I'm going to refresh this activities list. Should be able to see that this will update. Let's see if I can orient myself here. Let me do this by descending. Here's our new record. I just needed to refresh that list, so here you go. There's our unit that we just filled in, and it's no longer a draft unit. Alright, so that's that for draft units. Hopefully we can expand on that as we develop the app. I think as it is now, they should be really useful for just planning purposes, but we do intend to potentially expand that into being able to make full-blown reports, assuming you could complete everything that you intended to do for the forecasting year. You could make draft activities for the next year and then print up a budget report for the next year, and then you'd already have basically your entire year planned out. That's the overall kind of dream of a goal. All right, thank you.